It took a while, but now it finally worked. Anita Vaughan, so nice to have you here. How are you doing?
All's good. I'm keeping well, and thank you for having me
Yeah.
on the
Before we get to your performances in Germany, I would say we start at the very beginning. How did you get started with wrestling in the first place?
Ah, so I just started college. So I was like 18, 19 years old. And I heard that there was like, because my cousin was really big into wrestling, and he was like watching it one day, and he said, "Oh, there's this Irish girl on WWE. Like, isn't that so cool?" And I'm like, I haven't watched wrestling since I was a kid. And he put it on, and I was like, "Oh, like she's Irish. That's really cool." It was Becky Lynch, of course. And from there, I just started watching like more and more and more because I mean, I watched it a little bit when I was younger, like when it would be on TV, but I wasn't like a proper fan. But seeing Becky doing it, like that was so cool. And like I was really sporty growing up. So I was like, I thought that was so interesting. And I thought, like, well, why can't I do that? So that's how I kind of got into it myself.
Yeah. You mentioned Becky Lynch. There's of course Sheamus. Are those two maybe role models for your path, maybe?
Oh, 100%. Like 100%. It's like when you see someone doing something from where you're from, you're like it just shows, it proves that it's possible and you can do it too, no matter where you're from in Ireland. Like I'm like, oh, they can do it, why can't I? And I love seeing the success they've had and everything they've done in WWE. It's 100% an inspiration for me.
Hmm. You had quite a few coaches, including LJ Cleary. Yeah, who were you able to learn the most from, or who had the most influence on you?
Mm. Um, in Dublin, definitely LJ Cleary. I know he's a Noah now. He's doing great things. He was in WXW before, so
Hmm.
some people might recognize him from that as well. In Ireland, then my other coaches would have been Katie Harvey, who's done great things in Germany also. And Phil Boyd would have been as well. And like it just shows you've got good coaches and they're good people as well. So and that's in the Fight Factory in Dublin. So if anyone's looking for a good school, you can contact Fight Factory. But luckily I've learned a lot from other places I've been. Like when I go to WXW, I get to train in the academy and learn from all of the coaches there as well, who've obviously got a great team. So that's what wrestling is. You learn from as many people as possible and you pick up things along the way.
Hmm. After the pandemic, your career really started to get going. Do you think the pandemic has set you back quite a bit?
It's a funny one because sometimes I think, oh yeah, like if only I hadn't lost those 2 years, it would have been really helpful. But I think in my headspace during the pandemic, I think I was thinking like, oh, like I've done everything I want in wrestling. I don't really need to do anymore. But in a good way, the pandemic kind of motivated me to just go for it and like go travel, go train, go meet new people. So I mean, as much as it was a negative for like the timeline, I think everything happens for a reason with that sense with wrestling
Hmm.
that like it kind of motivated me to want it more. So I don't think about the negatives of it, but you know, there's definitely some positives in it too.
Okay, cool. Your character always seems to be full of energy. Is it something that comes close to who you are as a person?
um yeah, sometimes yeah, I'll say me in sports, you know, when I was younger I played lots of football. And you know, like there's personalities that come out on the pitch. I feel like I would have been like high energy, like motivating the team, like going in for tackles, like that would have been me on the pitch. And it's funny with wrestling, I get to channel that a little bit, which I haven't done in a while.
Hmm.
Or you know, like you're in the gym and you're trying to like get that lift, and then like it's that kind of a thing. So I mean, in my day-to-day life, like when I'm on public transport, I'm maybe not so high energy, but like in the gym and in sports, yeah, I will say. And then it's fun to bring that part to wrestling because you need to.
Yeah, you're telling, bringing that into wrestling. How easy is it for you to connect with the audience when you bring your energy? I think in Germany that worked quite quickly.
Yeah, do you know what? The German fans are super cool, and I love coming to Germany because of it. And I don't know what it is, but there is this connection. I think the first time maybe I came out and I was like super nervous, and I was like, okay, well, they're just gonna get all of my energy, whether it's like nervous or motivated, and like I was freaking out, and I just projected that. And I don't know, like people got on board. I have a lot of fun when I go out, when I make my entrance, when I wrestle. Like I like to see who's in the crowd, like who's having a good time, who's
Mm.
maybe a bit distracted and needs to be kind of brought into it a bit more. Um, but there's something about, yeah, like in Germany, like the fans want to kind of know the performer, they want to know the wrestler, and they want to actually support as well. So like it's really fun. But I don't know why, but it's great anyway. I love it.
Okay, very cool. Um, After your first few matches with Phoenix Wrestling, you performed in Canada. Yeah, how did that happen?
Yeah, so I mean, in my college degree, I trained to be like a physical education teacher, but also a French teacher. And there's a requirement where you have to spend a certain amount of time in a French
Mm.
area. So I didn't go to France, which might have been a bit easier and cheaper, but I decided to go to Montreal for 3 months, and there was some really good wrestling schools. I trained in the IWS dojo, which is where Kevin Steen comes from, El Generico. And I took training sessions there with like Speedball Mike Bailey. And that's how I ended up getting onto getting into shows and wrestling over there as well, while I was studying French, you know.
Okay. You have won titles for Phoenix Wrestling and I think No Limit Wrestling. How much does it mean for you to wear a title belt?
Yeah, do you know, like in your home promotion, it does mean a lot, or in your home country, because it's a sign that you're doing something right and
Mm.
that you're progressing well. It is nice, and like it's even nicer when you see you win a title in your hometown in Cork, or up the country in Ireland. It feels extra special. And I was super grateful for it. I unfortunately lost the NLW title this weekend, so we won't talk about it too much. But
Oh, heartbroken. I'm sorry. Yeah.
oh, okay, didn't know. But no, it means a lot still, and like, I'm always gonna remember those ones probably the most.
Okay, change of topic then. You've been in the ring for quite a few years now. Maybe tell us about the most amazing, the greatest, the funniest, or the worst experience you had. Anything that, yeah, you particularly remember.
God, the worst moments? Well, like the best moments were probably like getting to come over and do WXW and debut in that sense, because that was something I'd never experienced before. Like, and even the match kept changing. I didn't know what was happening until the day and last minute and all the changes. So like that would be a positive.
Hmm.
Um, Negatives? I think with wrestling, you always have to like learn to just accept anything that happens that's wrong. I don't remember any seriously bad incidences. Thankfully, I've not had any like nightmares.
Hmm.
Um, it's just stuff where like sometimes the oh I was in Pro Wrestling Eve, I think early in January, and there was a massive power cut in the venue. And like I flew over from Ireland with my tag partner Debbie, and literally the show was about to be cancelled. Nobody knew what was happening, and like, is the show going to go ahead? And it was the doors were delayed by like an hour, but
Oh.
everything happens. The electricity comes back on, and it kind of shows that like you never know until you know, and don't just assume these things. But that was a crazy day. It's I think it's like the Multiverse Rumble show. If you check it out, you have it on demand. It's really good. But that would have been like an uncertain moment for me anyway.
I see. Yeah, you're currently in the process of moving to London. Yeah,
Mhm.
why?
So I suppose London, when you look at like European wrestling, is like its own little like center for
Hmm.
professional wrestling. You've so many great promotions, great schools out there. In Ireland, I feel like I've wrestled for every promotion. I've wrestled, I think, every woman on the island. And I just kind of, I don't know. I wanted to like see, can I push myself further in like, can I go out and wrestle new people and train in new schools and really make a go of it. Like I originally moved from the south of Ireland, from Cork to Dublin for wrestling,
Hmm.
and then I did this for a year, and I was thinking, okay, maybe I can do something more. And I have a lot of friends in London, and they were saying like, yeah, if you come to London, like you'll have so much fun wrestling, so maybe try it. So that's what we're gonna say. We're gonna say I'll try it for a year. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I moved tomorrow, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so good luck. And I think, yeah, trying to do the next step then. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see how that works out. I'm having my
Mm,
fingers crossed.
oh,
You made your debut in Germany in 2022, I think, for Project Nova.
yeah.
Yeah, what was the first impression you had of the German wrestling scene?
Yeah, like that was super cool. That was in Berlin, Project Nova, and like what my first impression was how nice everyone is.
Hmm?
Like the entire locker room was like super friendly, and like I got a sense that like everyone wanted everyone to do really well. The girls backstage were so nice. But everyone, the full crew, it was super professional as well. And the fans, of course, they're not shy. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. The fans aren't shy. They're not afraid to like boo something that they don't like or cheer for something that they really do like. And I remember coming away from it being like, oh, that was really cool. Like that was they really were into that. So I did like I think I did two Project Nova shows. I did like their all women's show then. I think it was in the March. And that was awesome. I got to meet like so many great like German wrestlers and European wrestlers. I was the first time I met Ava Everett, for example, who was telling me great stuff about WXW. And yeah, no, but I love Project Nova. Like the whole team there, like they're doing good stuff, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah, and not meant much time after that, you had your first appearance for WXW. Yeah, how did the contact come about?
Yeah, so like because I had done stuff in Germany before with Nova, it kind
Hmm?
of I had heard good stuff about WXW from well, obviously WXW has its own great reputation. It didn't need anyone to tell me it was
Yeah.
good. But like talking to Ava Everett, talking to some of the girls at that Nova show, they were like, "Hey, would you contact WXW? Like maybe there's not so many women. Maybe it would be a good opportunity if you talk to them." And I think I wanted to go training there anyway. So I reached out to WXW about potentially going training in the academy, doing a stay with them, and we organized that. And then from there there was like opportunities to be on shows, so that's kind of how that conversation happened. But it goes to show like you want to work hard, you want to train. If people think you're good and you work hard, you can get like opportunities like that, when I was very lucky to. I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, you talked about it. There were not many women in WXW, or there still are not, and the women's title was discontinued, probably because of that. Do you think it's a general problem in Europe, or how is the women's wrestling doing?
Yeah, like in the time that I've been in wrestling, there's always been like I suppose like, people have always said there's a lack of women, and there's always been an effort to try and encourage more women to become wrestlers and to
Hmm.
start training. That's always been there since I started training anyway. Um, in Ireland, like I kind of said, like I mean, I've wrestled every woman that's here. There's probably a handful of female wrestlers in Ireland, and then in Germany, kind of the same, which is crazy because there's such a big population there and there's so much potential and there's so many great athletes in Germany as well, which I've noticed. I mean, like you look at Stephanie Mays and Jay Nero and like tell me who's in the gym more than them, because there's nobody training
Hmm.
harder than at the moment. But even like in the UK, like if you look at England, I mean, there's there could be more women, and I think there's that sense that they still want to develop it further. I don't know how. Maybe what's the secret? How do you get more women wrestling? Um, but yeah, like I mean, hopefully in the next 10 years, we're looking at a scene where there's twice as many women in each scene. That like, but hopefully that comes from the girls who are here now, helping more people along and inspiring future generations.
Hmm. Yeah, but for now, intergender wrestling is becoming more and more common. Even in
Mm.
Germany, you had quite a few intergender matches against, I think, Levaniel, Kohei Kinoshita, or your tag team matches with Oscar. How difficult is intergender wrestling for you? What is special about it?
And like I enjoy intergender wrestling. I think it's a lot of fun. And especially the matches where you can tell some really good stories as well. Um, for me, it's kind of the same in Ireland. We like when I wrestle for my home promotion in Fight Factory, there's no gender divisions either. So like I suppose I was familiar with wrestling intergender styles normally anyway. Um, so yeah, like I enjoy it a lot. I think it's fun, and it just means that I get to work with like some extra really experienced people. Of course, there are really experienced women, but then like getting to get in the ring with someone like Axel Tischer, is crazy, something that I wouldn't think is even like possible. And I guess that getting to wrestle for the shotgun title in against Lavagna, like these are incredible life experiences that
Mm.
like because intergender wrestling is happening and it's possible in WXW that I get to do that. And it motivates me to like train more, like get in the gym, like work hard, like it's because the guys are working as hard as they are, so it's like you need to keep up and do
Mm.
more. So that kind of a thing, I suppose.
Okay. You were there at the last big festival for WXW, the 16 karat gold. You had, I think, 5 appearances over that week. And how special was it to perform in front of, I think, almost 1,000 spectators?
Like for me, that is the highlight of my career so far. It was
Okay.
Cardiff and 100%. Again, like I came over not fully knowing what I was doing that weekend. I think it's the same for everyone, and things change all the time. But I couldn't have imagined that kind of a weekend happening. um, and sometimes you find out about your matches when the match graphic goes up. And I saw the alternate four way. I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. And then of course the tag team pairing with Oscar wasn't planned,
Mm.
and that turned out to be the craziest, most fun experience I've probably ever had in wrestling. I didn't expect tagging with somebody from New Japan again against Axel Tischer and Muto, but got to do that again, wrestle the big bucks. And then I had fun at Inner Circle as well, like back on the Thursday, getting to wrestle Jane Nero, and like the whole weekend, you're just so fully like immersed in wrestling. And it's something special. Like I don't think there's anywhere in Europe that does it quite like WXW, like a carrot weekend, where it's so many days of wrestling, so many high quality matches, across like 4 days, is it? But yeah, no, I'm very grateful when I look back at it, and it's just it worked out better than I ever could have thought.
Yeah, you mentioned the tag team with Oscar, and I think Germans would describe you both as positively crazy. So it was that way the team worked so well, maybe.
Yeah, and we happened to both have green gear, which was nice. People thought maybe it was planned, and I thought no, no, no. But yeah, no, Oscar is great, and I think people could see that the energy kind of matched, and it worked well. We can think of some new tag moves maybe down the line in the future, but we'll see.
Yeah, you have now stepped into the ring, I think 12 times for WXW. I don't think you are announced for any more appearances yet, but yeah, is there more to come from Anita Vaughan in WXW?
Yes, I will say hopefully. Otherwise, I'm wearing this t-shirt and I maybe shouldn't be. No, no. There's so many exciting things coming up in WXW that I want to be a part of it. Like getting the chance to wrestle Lavagna for the shotgun belt, like that made me really want to come back. And if anybody watched the backstage vlogs from some of the shows, from the Wheel of Wrestling one, the last one I did, um, my eyes are kind of on. There's like a European title being announced.
Yeah, in
I
Frankfurt. Hmm.
in Frankfurt, exactly. I think the 20th of July. I'm highly interested in it. We'll say that much. And then of course you're looking at like down the line, you're looking at Femme Fatale. I would love to go back and do Femme Fatale because of course that's where I made my WXW debut. So it'll
Hmm.
be really special to come back and do that again, like a year later with everything that's happened. And now the fans maybe know me a bit more, so I'd love to come back and do that. But those are kind of the things I have my eyes on at the moment.
Yeah, you're talking about Femme Fatale, but it is part of a tag team festival. Maybe,
Mhm.
you were with Oscar before. Maybe that would be some kind of opportunity too.
We'll see. I know Oscar has a lot on his plate right now. He's had two great matches with Lavagna,
Hmm.
who's used some unnice tactics, we'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I know like his tag partner Yudo is hopefully returning from injury. So again, we never know what happens in wrestling. We'll see what happens. And there's already some like really good tag teams announced. I think I just saw like Stephanie Mays and Bobby Guns were announced.
Yeah, they
Um,
qualified, I think, last weekend. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So like there's super good opportunities, and I'd love to, of
Hmm.
course.
Even though we were in Canada before, most of your matches were in Europe. Are you interested in perhaps going to Japan or the United States, to present yourself there?
I think so. Yeah. I think in the next like 2 or 3 years, I would love to maybe, yeah, go to Japan, even for training. The US 100%. Like that's I think where everyone wants to be seen and they want to perform on that level. Um, I don't know how it would happen. I always think, I mean, it could happen tomorrow if my flight went to the US instead of London. That could be pretty cool. But no, it's 100%. It is something I want to do. Um, I think my goals at the moment are to kind of keep it more European based and just like build my name and become more experienced here.
Mm.
Then when I feel like I'm, more experienced, more ready, I'd love to go to Japan. Like that is a dream. And the same for the US as well. Yeah.
Is there an opponent you would like to compete against? Your absolute dream match, maybe?
Oh, well, I don't think she's under contract anymore, but I would love to wrestle Becky Lynch if that is on the cards and if we're talking dream fantasy
Mm.
matches, that would be
Okay.
pretty cool. But like on the indie scene, there's some really cool names as well. Like I did always say I really wanted to wrestle Ava Everett. Just because I thought of the stuff she did in WXW was so cool, and I think she's kind of funny as well. So it'd be a fun match. And then like you've obviously great names like Alex Windsor in the UK scene, who like I haven't wrestled yet, and I would love to, but those are a few names anyway.
Okay. Yeah, 2024, we have June already. So what are your goals for the second half of the year? Maybe both in WXW, but in general, of course.
Yeah, so WXW again, I want to kind of come back and build I suppose, build my experience there, get some more reps and see what I can do. Like I'm like super motivated to work as hard as everyone else is working there and to try and establish myself a bit more. That's what I want to do in WXW. I mean, if I like honestly like fighting for that shotgun belt, I was like, that's crazy. That shouldn't have happened to me. But I want to do more of that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Have more special moments. If I can. For myself personally, I suppose with the move to London, I'd like to establish myself more in the UK scene as well and get to wrestle the girls in the UK because they have such I suppose a longer history of wrestling there and there's so many experienced women there that I want to go and train with and learn from. That's kind of like a personal goal for me. I try not to think about like, oh, I want to wrestle for this promotion or this promotion because
Mm.
at the time we can't control that as much as we can. But yeah, I wanna get in there, wrestle some of the best in Europe, wrestle some of the best in the UK, and make more of a name for myself if I can.
Okay, cool. Yeah, finally, last question already. Is there anything else you would like to say to the German fans?
Oh,
Hardest question.
no, no, it's cool. So I'm sweating now because I've been practicing my German because
Oh, oh.
okay, I might not debut it right now to the fans
Mm.
because if it's wrong then that's not great. But my goal, this is another goal for the year, so we can go back to the last question.
Mhm.
I would love to be able to like cut a promo in German fully, and like confidently, not like bad broken German, but like super like confident. So to the German fans, firstly, thank you for always matching my energy when I come out and I wrestle. That's really fun. I love you for that. But second, prepare yourself for when I start to speak German and don't be surprised, hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah, we'll see about that. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Anita Vaughan, thank you for finding time for us. Lots of success in London. And yeah, we hope to welcome you back to Germany soon.
Uh,
Thank,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
and
much.
goodbye.
Goodbye.